School is officially out for us. I know we are one of the last in the country to get out, but I actually like that we don't get out until the end of June and get the full months of July and August off. It just sits better with me mentally to picture those whole 2 months without having to make any school lunches. But seriously, end of school means you are getting piles of stuff sent home with your kids every day. Desk cleanouts, locker cleanouts. I think school papers and end of year backpacks are a pain point for a lot of parents. It's just a lot of added stuff. And it's always a little struggle to decide what's worth keeping and what can just be tossed. No one wants the added clutter, but it's hard to throw out something that has a little life left in it, at least for me. In today's episode, I will walk you through my routine on how to tackle that year end backpack. So let's jump into this week's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Kerri, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Stuff started trickling home the past 2 weeks, and I literally got out a box and started putting all the school stuff in so I could tackle it all at the same time. The year end has been a little crazy, and I've had to get really efficient in my time management so that I could get everything done that I wanted to get done. So this weekend, my goal was to clean out all the backpacks. I didn't want to go another couple of days or a week or two with those backpacks just sitting in a corner, full, taking up space. So we tackled them on Sunday, and I wanted to share my tips on how to clean out those backpacks. Tip number 1. Prepare a large surface area. You want either to clear out your dining room table or your kitchen table, and you want to have a garbage pail nearby. On that table, you're going to need enough room for a couple of piles. You're going to have a pile for anything that you're going to recycle. You're going to keep a pile for anything that you feel is sentimental or you want to keep. And then you're going to have 2 piles of things that are reusable. One pile is reusable that you can use again, and the other pile is stuff that still has some life in it that you're going to donate. You're also going to have a trash can nearby so that you can throw items directly in the trash that you know are garbage and that aren't recycling. Tip 2, empty everything out on that table: the papers, the notebooks, the binders, the pencil case, every nook and cranny. Once everything is out of the backpack, you're going to turn it right over that garbage pail, and you're going to get all the gross stuff out of the bottoms of those corners of those pockets where your kids shoved a snack in with the wrapper open, and Lord knows what's in those crumbs. But you're going to shake all those crumbs straight into the trash. Step 3. Tackle the notebooks first. You're going to look at the notebooks, and first you're going to flip through the notebook and determine if it's anything that has sentimental value. I like to keep the things that were like a journal or where there might have been writing pieces or anything that's unique to the child. The math, the writing words, that kind of stuff. Spanish, no offense to the Spanish teachers, but my kids are never looking at those notebooks again. Once I determine the non-sentimental ones, I go through to see if I could reuse or repurpose the notebook. If there are only a few pages gone, I remove those pages. And if you listen to one of my earlier episodes, I actually reuse them as my brain dump week planning notebook. If I have to rip out half of the notebook, then it goes straight into my recycling pile. Unless it's a ring notebook, those are pretty sturdy and you can definitely reuse them again. But if they're like the Mead notebooks where once you rip out a page from one side, it automatically loosens the page on the other side, those just go straight to recycling. Number 4, tackle all the binders and folders. I remove everything and determine if anything is worth keeping. I look at the dividers. If they're not worth keeping, they go straight in the trash because the ones we get have a little plastic on them. I determine if the binders can be reused. Most of the time they are too beat up. If it's reusable, I put it in the reusable pile. Whatever I can't use that isn't recyclable, I toss. So if the binder has cracks in it, straight to the garbage. Then I go through all of the papers. Any reusable loose leaf, graphing paper, that goes in the reusable pile. Anything sentimental goes in the sentimental pile. And everything else, assuming it's paper, goes straight into the recycling pile. Number 5, the pencil case and those school supplies. This is always the hardest part for me because I hate throwing out something that still has a little life in it. And as much as I would love my kids to reuse the supplies next year, I like to start the new year off with fresh supplies. But things like pens, mechanical pencils, if you have the refill erasers or post it notes, if you could take off the top piece, those I might reuse. I do save crayons, those go in a bin. And this past year, I actually used a bunch of our crayons to make Valentines for Michael's class. We melted them down. It was a fun little activity. We got one of those heart molds and put a bunch of crayons in them and melted them into heart shapes and gave them out on Valentine's Day. And if you live locally, we're actually doing a crayon collection drive for Kaylee. She'll be creating crayons in different shapes and giving them out over the summer as part of her Girl Scout Silver Award. She's working on building a beautiful community. So if you live in our town, we're doing the collection drive for another week. And stay tuned for some fun events coming up at the community center this summer. So let's get back to those pencil case and school supplies. All of the pencils and other items that aren't trash have a little life in them. You can put them in a pile. And if you have no use for them because you still have the pens and pencils left over from last year that you still haven't touched, post it for free on your local community Facebook group. And if no one responds that they can use them, I give you permission to toss them out. This is also a mantra I'm going to have to say to myself because I was the one that had pencils for years still sitting in a bag, and I finally just had to toss them. It hurt, but I don't have use for them. I've been on a serious decluttering kick for the past 2 years, which I'll be talking about in future episodes. But I refuse to keep stuff that I will no longer use or that I have something similar of already. It's taking up physical real estate in my house, and therefore it's taking up mental real estate in my mind, knowing that there's clutter every time I go into a closet and see a bunch of office supplies that I don't need. So give yourself permission to toss it if you're not going to use it and you can't find someone else that can. Number 6, now you're going to tackle all of those piles. First, you're going to tackle that recycling pile. And it just go straight into the recycling. Easy, just toss it all. Next, you're going to go to the reusable pile, the supplies that you're going to keep. But then wherever you keep your supplies, I actually have a bin that's just for school supplies where I have glue sticks, fresh pencils, post-its, crayons, colored markers, anything that's typically on their supply list. And anything that I could reuse again, like the red pens, stuff that still have that wonderful life in them. We'll just put them straight in that bin. So for next school year, which I'd start prepping in about a month, I go through what school supplies they need for this upcoming school year. I go to that bin, I do a quick inventory check, and then I know exactly what I need to buy so that I'm not buying a whole bunch of stuff that I don't really need. Then you're going to go back to the reusable pile of school supplies that you wouldn't really use again. You're going to just fan them out on your table, take a quick picture, put it all in a bag, post it on Facebook for free, give it 24 to 48 hours to see if anyone's interested. And if they're not, you toss them. And that leaves you with the last pile of sentimental stuff. This is the one where a lot of us struggle with because there's just so much you want to keep. So I have a file folder box for each kid. I haven't been the best at keeping it up to date, but that is one of the projects I'm actually giving my kids to do this summer is to go through all of their stuff that I've kept over the years, decide what they want to keep, because at the end of the day, it's really their stuff to keep for when they're older. I like to look back on like the handprints and some of the writing, but at some point in their lives, you're handing that box over to them. So let them go through, pick out the stuff that they want to keep and organize it nice and neat, especially the artwork that isn't, on an 8x11 piece of paper that kind of takes up a lot of space that's hard to fold or put away. And take the pictures and create either a chat book with them or a Shutterfly album. Shutterfly always has amazing coupons. That's another project I'm giving to the girls this summer is to take pictures of their artwork because we're kind of overflowing with that kind of stuff. When they were younger, we used to have an area in our playroom where we'd hang up their artwork, but we kind of stopped that a few years ago. So chapbooks, Shutterfly books, those are great options, something to keep the kids busy and help you reduce and manage all your paper. That brings us to number 7. Make a decision on what you're going to do with that backpack. Once I go through everything, I need to make the decision whether I'm going to keep the backpack or not. I have a one in, one out rule. If I'm bringing something new into my house and I already have it or have something like it, then that needs to go out before I bring a new one in. So I do the same with the backpack. If you're going to use the backpack again for next school year, or if it's something your kids can use as an overnight bag, throw it straight in the washing machine now so that way you have it ready for use. If it's still in good condition and you're not going to use it again, then donate it. You can even go the extra mile and tell your kids to fill it up with stuff that they no longer want with an incentive that it will all go to charity. And you might actually get a few extra items out of your house at the same time. So those are all my tips to help you clean out those backpacks. To recap, the first thing you need to do is prepare a place to go through the entire backpack. The dining room table or kitchen table are perfect options. Number 2, empty the backpack onto the table and throw out everything that is obviously trash. Number 3, tackle the notebooks first. Ask yourself, can it be reused? If not, put it in the recycle pile. If it can, is it sentimental? If the answer is no, put it in the reuse pile. If it's sentimental, keep it for the memories. If it's reusable, decide if you can reuse it. If you can, tear whatever papers are out of there, cleanly out, of course, and put it in the keep pile. If it's reusable, but you won't use it, put it in the post for free pile. Number 4, binders and folders. Same process. Take out all the loose leaf, graph paper, keep it all for next year, toss what you can't reuse, post what can be reused, but that you don't want, and put away the ones that you want to reuse for next year. Number 5, the pencil case. I give you permission to toss it, but you can recycle those crayons as a fun art project or re-gift when it's a fun, easy activity to do with your kids, especially over summer. Number 6, tackle those piles you made. Recycle, put away, post for free, and toss. Number 7, make a decision on those backpacks. If you're going to reuse it, get it in the wash today. If you're not, have your kids refill it with stuff they no longer need or want and donate that bag. Well, I hope you found my backpack clean out routine helpful. If you haven't tackled your backpacks yet, carve out some time this weekend to get it done. Get them cleaned out and out of your sight. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Kerri Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be forever grateful if you could take a minute, go over to iTunes, and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on Instagram and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you would like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life.